This is what we're making today. Flash fried filet. This is a beef flank. We're going to cut it into strips on an angle. The reason why we're cutting it on an angle is to generate more surface area because the beef flank is too thin. Once we've cut it into strips, we're going to cut it in half. Next, we're going to marinate the beef flank. To the beef, we're going to add in 1 teaspoon of salt, 1 teaspoon of white pepper, and 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, and then mix. After mixing, we're going to add in 1 egg white and then give it another mix. Then, when the egg white is all incorporated, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. We're going to give this another mix, making sure that the cornstarch is well incorporated, and then we're going to add in a tablespoon of oil. This will ensure that the beef doesn't stick together. Next, we're going to cut up this red onion. First, we're going to take off the skin. Then, we're going to cut the top into circles. We're going to use this for our garnish. And then finally, we're going to cut the onion in half and then cut it into quarter strips. Next, we're going to cut 2 large red chilies. We're going to take off the stem and then de-seed it. After we've de-seeded it, we're going to cut them into 2-inch strips. If you guys are not a big fan of spice, you could replace this red chili with a red bell pepper instead. Next, we're going to dice up this garlic and dice up 2 tablespoons of ginger. Next, we're going to make chili powder. I ran out of chili powder, so I'm making my own. In a pan with a little bit of oil, I added 5 grams of citron peppercorns and 10 grams of dried red chilies. I toasted this on medium heat for about 3 minutes, and then I'm putting it into a blender and blitz it until it's a powder. Traditionally, you actually do this by hand with a knife, but it's a lot easier with a blender. So if you don't have any other options like a blender, just use your knife. I blitzed this for about 1 minute. This recipe yielded about half a cup. Next, we're going to make our stir-fry sauce. In a bowl, we're adding in 1 tablespoon of hoisin sauce, 1 tablespoon of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of sesame oil, 2 tablespoons of Beidou, which is a Chinese liquor, 1 teaspoon of soy sauce, 1 teaspoon of white pepper, and a teaspoon of cornstarch. We're going to give this a good mix and then set it aside. This will be our sauce for our stir fry. Now, in a really hot pot of oil at 350 degrees Fahrenheit, we're going to flash fry our flank fillet. That's why it's called flash fried fillet. We're going to flash fry this for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we're going to strain the beef and then set it aside. In the same pan, we're going to throw in our red onions, our red chili peppers, and then saute it on really high heat for about 1 minute. Then, we're going to add in 1 tablespoon of ginger, 1 tablespoon of garlic, and 1 teaspoon of our chili powder. We're going to saute this on high heat for another minute. After 2 minutes in the pan, we're going to add in our beef and saute it for 30 seconds. After 30 seconds, we're going to add in our sauce. We're going to saute this for another minute. Now at this point, I realized that I put too much cornstarch in there and it seems a little gloopy, so I added in half a cup of water. This will ensure that the beef is nice and separated with a nice coating of sauce and not one big clump. Now we're ready to plate. Alright, time to eat this. And as usual, we have to eat this with rice. Look at that, looks so appetizing, so colorful. Now let's give it a taste. So I already knew what this was going to taste like because this was a recipe for ginger beef. So that's exactly what it tastes like. If you guys have never had ginger beef, go to your local Chinese restaurant and order ginger beef. As I eat through it, it's actually quite spicy because of the red chilies. And I like that. Now, if you're not a fan of spice, just replace the red chilies with red bell peppers. And honestly, looking back at it, I probably should have used red peppers. I could have made that anchor looking thing as a garnish on the picture. And as for these raw red onions, I mean, I guess it goes well with the ginger beef, but I probably should have sauteed it for like 30 seconds or so. Honestly, for this dish, guys, you could have used any sauce you want. It didn't have to be a ginger beef recipe. All I was trying to show was how to flash fry something, because that's what it said, flash fried filet. Anyways, if you guys like what you see, hit the like button. And if you guys have any suggestions on what I should cook next, please post in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe. Guys, I know a lot of you have been requesting Ganyu's special dish, Prosperous Peace or Universal Peace, and the reason why I haven't done it yet is because I'm waiting for the golden raspberries to come into season because I can't get a hold of them here in Canada. So please be patient, I will get to that as soon as possible.